Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're taking a look at a new challenge in the second season of Street Woman Fighter. It is the battle mission. I'm going to be taking a look at each of the battle lineups. We are taking a look at Section A and Section C of each respective group. I have searched high and low to understand as much information about this challenge because I do not have other seasons to go off of. What's really funny is some people were saying that this challenge is kind of like the K-pop challenge but in cursive, which I think is very humorous, and I am excited about the discussions as these are released. So I'm only going to be taking a look at the A and the C sections of the choreographies for each crew. I will not be looking at Section B until next week because they don't have it released at this time, to my knowledge. I also know how the criteria works and the weight of the scoring, and I am a bit surprised at how heavy the global vote is going to play a role in this challenge. It feels like more and more the voting of the popularity of these crews is making a bigger effect on who makes it through and who is eliminated. But we do know that Mnet is one who really likes making money, and they really like making sure that their shows are successful. So by having the public involved more and more, which some people have conflicting feelings about having so many voting sections of this show, it is part of it is a who are the most popular groups, which sucks to the ones who really have a disadvantage in that, and who also won or within the challenges that have already happened. I do know that 1 Million won the Hwasa challenge, so they were awarded extra points, but we do not who won the other extra points from the global vote, I believe is what it was. But we will find out next week. I do know we have judges Honey J and Trix as special guest judges for this challenge as well. So I'm very curious how they would be voting in this process. So I know this intro is a bit long-winded, but I really wanted to let you know I tried as hard as I could to be as accurate as possible with the context of this challenge so my feedback can be tailored most appropriately. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. Alright, we're gonna be looking at BEBE and Wolflow. Section A, they get to do their own thing. Gonna do whatever they want. They got the prop. Hey! Fun! Way too high to get over me. Way too low to get under my skin. All the DJs go hit that spin. I'ma play this again and again and again. That was cute. Cool up. Oh, there's basket run. Cool up, 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 cool up. So I'm curious as to why Bada was not in the beginning of that section, and we saw her basket run in. Now they're transitioning over. This is Wolflow's track. Here we go. Hey, come on. I love that. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Bada. I love that. Ah, yes. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps on this one. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh. Man. I'm a fan of that. That was wild. I love that. Okay. Go ahead and we're going to take it back. So they were using, so how I'm going to be looking at these, at least for Section A, I'm looking at prop usage. How well do they use their prop? I will say my big note, I'm going to go ahead and say off the bat, The problem was not Bada not being here. It was so obvious where we saw her come in. It was a basket run. I know she was trying to be, you know, not very, she's trying to be discreet, but it's something that the camera caught. So I don't know if that is something that was just this crew that we're going to see, or if everybody is not allowed to have their leader until a certain point. That's not what I've heard in the criteria, so I'm going to assume that is not the case. But I really like the usage here. I love the personality they have. It's just fun, just with the little knocks. I love the framing that they're having here. Yeah, bum, I will say this right here reminds me with this song that get it. I learned a whacking combo. It was by Lorinda Balenciaga. I learned from her on an online platform, and they did something like that. Am I saying that's something that they took reference of? No, I am not. That is something that is very coincidental, if anything. And I love that choice, and it actually felt very, it's just something that I just noticed, and I really like it because I love the choreo I learned, and I really like seeing it here. It matched that music great. Brought it in. Yeah, so it's just such a different vibe in this first track in comparison to that section C that we saw. That not even touching the table and just allowing her body to slide through. I think it's very tasteful. It's a very nice choice. They're very clean, very big in energy, and I love that. Just counting that. Super fun wordplay there. Yeah, so I would say they definitely have, because remember, they are being compared to Wolf Low. It is a battle between these two crews, and I know there will be a secondary battle if one of them, you know, it falls under elimination, this or the other. I understand all of that, but here, you know, we do know BEBE has had an ongoing trend of being more at an advantage to choreography. And so I do remember somebody said something about how BEBE, in the episode, or I'm not sure, they were along the lines of, remember, I went to the depths of Reddit to really make sure, I got it up there, to really make sure what I'm watching. And I think they said that BEBE was like, you know, 2 out of the 3 sections, because Wolf Low going up against Wolf Low can be, in the freestyle context, really difficult to go up against them. So they're saying that Section A and Section C, they have the upper hand because it's choreography, even if they lose Section B. So that's just that's an interesting thing. They were strategic. I know they did pick Wolf Low. I love that because it's just like she's about to go and she doesn't, and then they do the arms to really create that tension in slow motion. That's so fun. Yeah, I love it where they go fast, and then they bleed it through so it connects to the phrase they just did. Love it. Great footwork there. Now, that's my big note. We saw about a nice entrance. We know where she's about to come on. I don't know what the situation was. I'm hopeful that you guys can provide more context if it was released in the episode. We may not know more until next week because Mnet likes to do that. But anywho, I like that, you know, she just hits in that lock. Everybody comes out. Nice little framing here. Love that. And having the hair go with that is super fun. Yeah, I just say my big note in this, I feel like my notes in this challenge are going to become more and more minimal, which is a good thing. You know, I don't want to make it to where, like, I'm always finding a big thing wrong with these groups, because we're at the point of the competition where we're really seeing a refined form or version of these crews, and it's making it more and more enjoyable to watch. I know for me, when I watch Street Man Fighter, just the last couple of challenges, I really wasn't as much of a critic or an analyst as I was just somebody who was admiring, and I analyzed out of admiration, not out of, ooh, this could work against them, blah, 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 blah. I was able to enjoy the craft a little bit more, and I feel like here we're starting to get to that point, because once you hit the finals, you're at the finals, you know, and it is what it is. And I feel like how you do in your challenge is not really going to make or break the placement as significantly as if they may try to make it, you know. So I will say, like, I'm appreciative that I'm really only having my really 1-2 notes tops with these crews, because it's just showing their growth, and it shows it just shows the quality and the caliber of who we have left, you know. So going back to what my original point was going to be, my one note for this is just Bada's immersement in her crew and how she's introducing herself within the crew on this stage. This is my only note, and it's only in this section. I wouldn't count that for Section C, but it's still very strong. It's just fun. It's just super, you know, it's that old school 2000s matches the vibe of this. It really does. I love that boom, boom. Over, uses the hand. We come back out. Really fun. They reset it up. I love this. They completely decimated this song. I really love the track. I think, before I get into this section, I do want to go back here. I think it's their costume. I do want to touch on their costume. Now, we do remember with Jam Republic, they wore this type of basketball short. That's honestly what it reminds me a little bit more of, but I appreciate the fact that they picked the color that they did because it is Wolflow's color. But I think that's my one thing is maybe the type of short that they picked. It does remind me more of Jam Republic than it does Wolflow. But that's really my only note in all of this with the costume. I do like the costume. It's a vibe and it looks well. It looks great on them. So go forward. Now, I want us to notice something here because I know that we have seen them do like that red using the paint or the ink of some kind. Do you notice? I feel like some of their hands are kind of stained a little red. At least I see it from Bada. So it is impressive though if they had to do that section in multiple takes because getting it all over your clothes and here, the amount of makeup that you would have to fix or just the time, it's a huge investment, you know? And so I'm and I would assume that their amount of time to film is a little bit different than other crews, to my assumption, because of the usage of the paint and it takes longer to kind of clean up, you know, but I really like it. And you have to clean the stage too. Just this kind of wave, it just feels like this wave of energy and it feels really nice. Yeah. Oh, ding ding da da da. Wordplay on that. And I know I touched on the costume. My note for that was in reference to Section C, not in Section A, because they can do whatever they want in Section A. Remember, Section C, they're wanting to pay, like their opponent is Wolflow. Like you really want to see that opposition take place. So that's where that note came from. If we needed a form of clarification, I'm mentioning this here. I love this where she pulls it and then she waves it up. I love it. It's just so boom, doom, 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 doom. And I wonder if they really popped off here because it's Wolflow and they're like, we're going to show you what our best is. And I know your best is in freestyle. Our best is in choreography. Buckle up. We're taking your track and we're sending it where we want. That is confidence. I see so much more confidence in this and I love that. That boom, boom, how she hit it and they all accented with their bodies. I love that. And she hit over. And she made the same choice, and I think it looks like she went the same way or a different way. Yeah, she goes same, and then she switches it the other way and gets in the transition. I love this. Yeah, they pop off this drop right there. Super fun. They didn't drop too early or too late. They hit it right when that drop happened. I love this bring around through. Super fun. Yeah, so we have Bada coming in hot here. Love this. They get to kind of flow and vibe, and it reminds me of a Wolflow pocket. So I think their groove is really nice here, and you can see Wolflow through this texture of their execution, and that just proves their versatility as a group. And I think BEBE as a crew, because it used to be some people were like, oh, Bada's top dog and everybody else is kind of under, and they were kind of criticizing Bada a little bit. Why don't somebody else be representative for the Hwasa challenge and that kind of stuff? But for me, I think she's guided them very well here, and everybody's holding their own so well, and I love it. This was sick where she holds it, they go just the heads, doom doom doom, and then she resets on doom doom doom. Look at the intensity in the face. Wow. This right here, that is a Wolflow groove sequence if I ever saw one. That doom, they bled through. Ugh. This is clean and it is well executed, guys. Love that. Now, would I have chosen a toe touch there? Personally, it's just my personal preference. No, maybe a different type of jump, a different something that match, you know, maybe tucking of the knees more so. But if that's something that she does well and it's a representative of her, then that's a great choice, you know. That's more of a preferential thing than it is ooh, they shouldn't have done that. So I want you to know that too. I love it where you have as they walk, they're not taking away, but they're also not doing basket runs or doing anything that is not complementative of what's going on. They set it up. This was so nice. So I want you to look here. Let me see. They open it up. Okay, look. So this is how you can tell that they've already had to do a take right there. Boom. You're already seeing remnants of it. You're going to continue to see them. Is that a bad thing? No, it just shows you the impressiveness. And look, hers is chilling right up there. You can see where her red is. It's just impressive, the fact that they were able to clean it up and they're able to take multiple takes of it in order for them to get the right way they wanted it to get across. So I'm actually mostly super impressed with that, because sometimes it kind of takes away, you're like, oop, I'm waiting for this. But those little things I didn't really notice until after I knew that they had done that kind of draping. So that is mad cool. Very cool choice. Very strong, impactful. And I'm assuming it may signify blood, right? Now, I don't know the wordplay as much on this as a BY track. Love BY. But a lot of his rhythmic patterns are brilliant. And so I know they cater heavier to the words, and we've seen that trend. And I know other crews have, like Deep and Dop, they catered more towards the words too. But I really love, it's just so pigmented. And I love it. You know, this just looks raw. Like this feels like they're out for blood, pun and no pun intended. I mean, look at this look. That is phenomenal. You know, I'm just impressed through and through. Do I think this is probably my favorite BEBE performance? It's definitely probably my top 2. Gonna be real. I loved their crew preview, but I loved this. This was fabulous. I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to get into Wolflow. Let's go ahead and check out Wolflow.
스트리머 파이터 2 배틀 퍼포먼스 미션 울플러를 응원해주세요.
We gonna shut them down. Y'all thought we killed them with the last one? Remix.
Oh, come on.
DS Brothers.
Let's go.
Live a lot. DJ Lad. I wanna see you move, shake, shake, now drop what your mama said. Move, shake, shake, now drop what your daddy said. Move, shake, shake, now drop what your sister said. Move, shake, shake, now drop.
Okay. It is interesting that they set off their own confetti here. That was fun. Nice. I love the threading choices there. Super creative on that. Oh, love that. Shake, shake, now drop what your mama said. Shake, shake, now drop what your daddy said. Yeah, okay. We just have some cleanliness issues here, but that's something that, you know. Okay. Okay. Everybody wanna know the secret 알지 못하는 우리 비요. Back up, back up. 일본 컬러 got his hand up. 땀이 흘러 우린 하루 종일 hot and spicy 열이 나는 머리. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna look through here. So I am locking down prop utilization. I feel like every crew has a prop that they're gonna have to use in some way, shape, or form. I feel like my initial thoughts, it really does feel, if we were looking at these, if these had to be looked at as a cohesive set between 2 sections, it would feel pretty disconnected. But because it's 3 sections, very distinct sections with different criteria within them, I'm not going to put section A and section C in the same playing field, as they have to be cohesive. I don't agree with that. If that's not in the criteria, I don't think that should be something that crews have to have in these. Do I think it'll help? Yes, but do I think that's a requirement that has been asked of them? I don't think so, because after looking at everything, it's, you know, that's not a criteria where they have to make section A and C cohesive. They just have their own vibes about them and their own criteria. So I do want to say that, and so that's probably why I'm not going to say anything. BEBE's was cohesive in the transition, theirs wasn't, but I think that's fine because I don't think that's part of the challenge. I love the leather jackets. I actually think I own that jacket, and that makes me want to, style it now because I love the fits they have. But mine's not quite that oversized. I wish it was. It's just a little bit on the more form-fitting side for me. I love the accent, boom. Now here, looking at this, if we take a look, it's not my computer because it's very clear right here in the lettering. So I just think it's interesting that this camera, I wonder if it's going for that vintage retro feel, you know what I mean? Which I think could work in this case. Feels more like old school. I love it with the pops. Their foundation is so strong. I love it. Yep. So my big note that I'm going to give them here is the execution of the range is not quite in the same timing as I feel it could have needed to be in order for their choreography to be justified within how they're setting it up. I've said this about this crew. If this is your first time watching any of my analysis, this is not the first time I'm saying this. I think almost every single time I've seen them do a choreography challenge, I have made this note. You have to be able to showcase creativity, content density, if you're not going to present visuals, formations, or dynamics that help alleviate some of that complexity. So in simpler terms, what I'm meaning is their choreography is not on the level of difficulty where the cleanliness that is not up to snuff on the expectation on how it is not quite there. And it's not balanced. This routine is not balanced. Some of their moments are really nice. This transition was really, really nice. I enjoyed it. But this whole beginning, how they popped off, it didn't quite pop off as seamless or as in tune as it needed to be, especially when you know they are being compared to BEBE. And I am assuming that these are either being shot or they are performing these, not this voting one, but they're performing them live, and there's people that are placing their votes on it. So if they perform this not at the same at the same level that we're seeing now, that's the assumption I'm going in with, this is not going to captivate audiences as effectively as what we have seen from BEBE. I like the drag out. That was really nice. The slow motion dynamic changes. Now, I do feel a little disconnected with the usage of the confetti. Do I think, could that have been one of the props that they used? Possibly. But I do remember seeing them use a chair in the second section, which was section C. I did notice that prop usage there. So I don't know if they had to for both. I don't believe they needed it for both, or they needed a sense of visual, because I know with BEBE they had the table and then they used paint. But here they're using confetti and they're using a chair. So I'm wondering if there's another component that I just haven't found, or is just more itemized that wasn't brought up in the criteria that they know about, that we have to just subtly see. It does feel a tad bit disconnected here. But whether or not they chose it, I don't know. It is I think it's fun what they were trying to do with it though. But my big note is, if you just take a look right here, all of them are playing, they're finishing out in a specific way, right? But I think that's Baby Sleek, her hands are completely off, and I don't believe it's because she is doing something different. I think it was supposed to be the same. Yeah, so she was supposed to do the same thing. So it's just basic cleanliness issues that I see here. Does it affect the overall performance? I really enjoy what they're bringing to the table, but do I think it's kind of weakening the presence and stage presence of what they can bring? I do believe so. I love this. She's threading through, creating a moment, twisting through. I love these moments. It's super fun. That felt very well flowed to me. It really did. I love that. This was cool too. I liked having two of them break off and kind of do and vibe their own thing. And then we have our straight line happening right here. That's super fun. The marches around. I do know sometimes less is more, and I do agree with that in a lot of ways. But it still goes to, if the context of what you've brought to the table choreographically is not is not bringing any level of complexity outside of groove and pocket, but the density or the actual movement, polyrhythmic movement sequences are not being brought up throughout. When they do simpler things like a march, you're not able to appreciate it as much because there wasn't anything, it doesn't feel like they chose to do that. Of course they chose to do it, but whenever you have complicated things happening and they do really well at it, whenever they choose to be simple, you're more gracious to the simplicity than if it was simple up until this point and then they made a simple choice. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to articulate. Their energy is really big here and I like it. That's just my overall note. I love that. Move, move. Subtle, subtle. Super fun. Yeah. Super enjoyable. I really like that. That boom and ha. Fun. I love it. She blew it out. That was fun. She threw it up, which I think was really fun. Now, going into section C, I understand the color, the feathers, right? The color blue meant for BEBE. I am trying to think back to the crew previews. I don't remember BEBE using feathers or using something like that, so I don't know if the feathers mean something or if it's just an extension on the gloves. That is an interesting choice. But look, she's in a chair, right? They're using these feathers. Do I feel like, I don't know. It's just interesting. I love the options that they're trying to go for. But I will say this, whenever you do operate using a prop like this that extends a line, so I would say like an umbrella is a good example, a pole, or something that extends off of the fingers, that's an extension of a line that you make. So whenever you're creating an image or a position or a dynamic, what you do that's beyond also is factored into the justification of the angle or the dynamic or the texture. So going here, they're really, really asking for people to scrutinize the angles and execution of their unison finger work. I love the risk of it though. So you notice here it's very full and very spread out. Hers is a little bit more placed closer together. Hers is taking more of a subtle finger, like more focus on the fingers, not really spreading them out as much. We see the pinkies initiated, but we're not quite seeing as much of the rest of the fingers. So that's just little things like that can make a huge difference. And because of where we are in the show, this kind of stuff, I think it looks like they're trying to make a fan, which I think is mad cool that you can make a fan out of that, but not everybody's making a fan out of it. And I think that's my big note on that. Yeah, not like she's fanning herself with her finger. I think that's really fun. Lean over. Yeah. So they're using the chair. So I see their efforts and attempts to utilize the chair. If we are doing a comparison between BEBE's usage of the table versus their usage of a chair, I prefer BEBE's choices. I think that they were able to frame the table. They made it seamless. They created some moments that were really nice, subtly risky, but were effective to what they brought to the table, pun intended. With the chair, it really feels like they're using it as a form of a transition. And I will say it's a bit tricky to use it, you know, but she's moving it over to the side. production took it off. I just feel like they were trying to fulfill a requirement or a criteria. It didn't feel as a part of their set as much as I feel they intended it to be. All of this here, I'm saying the exact same notes that I've already said. I love the dynamic that they're trying to do here. I really like what they chose to do here, but it goes back to if not everybody's on the same page on how they choose to create whatever angles they will with the feathers, that kind of stuff will really affect the fullness of the fan, as well as it'll affect the unison that you choose to do with some of these dynamics through. I really like the choices that they're trying to make. That was cool, going from wide to close. That was a really fun option. It also feels, I think what they did is they took their jackets and put them around their waist, so it creates a different look. And I know this song is not in their genre wheelhouse at all, and I think they're trying to take this as a way to try to create a more feminine aesthetic about it. So I like the fact that they're trying and they're branching out and doing something. I don't think we would see this from Wolflow if they received any other crew member's track, maybe with 1 mil. But a lot of the crews had more of like a grungier aesthetic, or their sound. I think they could have integrated their body, like their movement quality in a little bit more. Yeah, but some of their choices they do come across a bit simplistic. Well, it's not quite necessarily like it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying their set was bad. I don't think it was bad at all, but I will say that their freestyle 1v1 is going to carry a significant weight to whether or how they will rank against BEBE, and also the audience choice. We do know out of the 2 crews, my gut tells me BEBE may get the audience vote because of the popularity of some of the people. They already had a sense of popularity prior to the even show beginning, so they may possibly get it. And I think it's a domestic crowd in Korea, which both crews are Korean, so I think that they would have equal footing in the sense of they're both Korean, but BEBE, I think, has more virality of presence than Wolflow does. So my vote between the 2 would probably go to BEBE, who took round 1. I think they did a very good job in both of the choreographic sections. It'll be very hard to beat Wolflow in the freestyles, and I think BEBE knows that. So I think they were strategic in the other facets that they brought to the table. And I think in the audience vote, it could swing more in BEBE's favor. Global votes as well could also swing in BEBE's favor when you look at the lineup of how people's viewership on these videos. BEBE is in the upper tier. Wolflow is normally near the bottom, and that's why they've had to do a lot of eliminations in the past. So right now it is looking pretty close to BEBE being the one winning out of the 2, but there is another section that has not been aired yet for this grouping. So we'll have to wait and see what the votes say and what the commentary is, because the judges may think differently. And that's what makes this fun, right? What a freaking ride with some of these challenges. I cannot wait to see the results of this challenge, as well as the more detailed point results of the Hwasa challenge, as well as seeing our final performances. It's been such an amazing journey so far, and I love the discussions I've had with everybody, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds and discussing it alongside with you guys. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.